Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you cruise a little smarter. And it's just me today, but always enjoy doing these shows as we bring back to the podcast one of our good friends we've been able to travel with his family several times now. Welcome back to the podcast, Chris, down in California. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm good. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
We always love talking to you. Christy's on the road and Chris is doing jury duty today. So that's why you're stuck with just me. I'm glad it's her doing jury duty and not me. Have you ever done jury duty?
Yeah, and I've actually never been on the jury. I get excused, but I somehow get called every 2 years here in California, and then have to go through the whole rigmarole of it.
I won't talk about the case that we sat on because it was not a good case, but I actually got picked for a jury one time, and it was totally fascinating to see how the whole process worked. It's like you watch it on TV and everything happens quick and it gets done in half an hour or an hour. And man, it's a slow
it drags on for days. I was there for 3 days before I got excused one time on a case.
Well, it's always good to have you back, Chris. And for those who do not listen to the DCL Dude, or if you've never listened to the DCL Dude, great podcast covering all of Disney Cruise Line as well. And I know that you have been on with Wes talking about your first sailing on the Disney Wish. That's episode 124. I encourage everybody to go over there and take a listen to that. But we're going to talk about your second one. But before we jump into that, you guys went to Disney World and Universal ahead of time. Can you talk about what you guys did before the cruise?
Yeah, so the cruise left on a Monday, so we landed in Florida on the Thursday before, the Thursday evening. And so Friday we did the Disney parks, and Saturday we did the Universal parks, and Sunday we did Disney Springs and kind of had a leisurely day before we got on the cruise ship Monday morning.
Did you guys do Cosmic Rewind?
Yes, we did.
What'd you think?
I hadn't watched any spoilers, didn't know what to expect. I hate going backwards. I can do roller coasters all day long. That 30 seconds of backwards about kills me, so... And my daughter Emily is prone to motion sickness, and she didn't feel good afterwards. But I love Guardians of the Galaxy, so I love the ride, but I hate the backwards part.
Yeah, I think Mission Breakout's still my favorite. I know you're a fan of that down at Disneyland.
That's my favorite ride in California for sure, over everything else down there.
I would definitely give Mission Breakout higher points over Cosmic Rewind. It was fun, but we did it twice in the span of like an hour and a half. And I think that was a little bit too much for me. I think once a day is good enough for me. So anyways, well, let's talk, I want to touch on Universal a little bit. You guys had an opportunity to go over there. A lot of people are starting to go over to Universal for a lot of different reasons because of Disney, but also your kids are a little bit older and there's some bigger thrill rides over there. What are some of your favorite things about Universal when you guys go over there?
I think you kind of, there's bigger thrill rides over there. We love, the big roller coasters. My daughter loves all the Harry Potter stuff. We started spending a day over there. Now, sometimes we spend 2 days over there for like a week trip kind of deal. There's a lot of stuff to do over there. We really enjoy it. And
I was asking you this ahead of time, but you guys are DVC members like we are. So it's easy to, just stay on Disney property and everything like that and go over to Universal. Would you ever stay over at Universal? And if so, which hotel intrigues you? We actually, we are DVC. And one of our trips a couple of years ago, we stayed at the Grand Floridian for like 5 nights, went on a 4-night on the Dream and came back and spent 2 nights at Universal at the Portofino. And it's a gorgeous hotel. It's super convenient to get to the parks. You take a little water taxi. We really enjoy it. I see Universal more in our future. I feel, and I know you guys go to Disneyland a lot like we do. I feel like Universal is a lot more like Disneyland, where it's just, because it's so much more compact, it's so much easier to go around and visit it. Yeah, you have the 2 parks right next to each other, so it's super easy. And so you take the Harry Potter train takes you from one park to the other. That's one option to go the park hop. I think with the new park opening up as well, that's really gonna, make Universal, that's really gonna be a game changer, I think, for Universal, as far as like us wanting to go over there with some of the rides that they're gonna have there. And they're gonna add a whole other Harry Potter section, which I'm totally curious as to what they come up with. And the Nintendo section too is gonna be incredible, I think. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that. Well, so this cruise, you have sailed on Thanksgiving cruises before. It was a 4-night sailing on the Disney Wish out of Port Canaveral with stops at Nassau, Castaway Cay, and then Sea Day, which ends up being Thanksgiving, which I think was perfect as far as that kind of goes. And then back to Castaway Cay, or back to Port Canaveral. What made you want to go back on a Thanksgiving sailing, Chris? We as a family just really enjoy them. We did the first one in 2018 on the Magic out of New York, and that was a 7-night. And then next year we did the Dream.
The next year, we actually had the Wonder booked out of Galveston. Obviously, that got canceled. And then last year, we decided to do a New Year's cruise over Thanksgiving, and we kind of regretted it. We wish we would have done the Thanksgiving instead of New Year's. So we're back to Thanksgiving this year, and we had a great time. It's just, for us, it's just super relaxing. The ship decorated all the Christmas stuff. It just puts you in a great mood, and just something we like doing.
So I remember a couple cruises ago that when you guys went on it, it was right after Halloween, but they didn't have the decorations up, right?
We did last year. We did the Fantasy on November 4th, and the Christmas decorations were up.
Okay, never mind. I'll cut that all out.
They had no transition between. That's what I was impressed with. Like, I could have done the cruise before, it would have been a Halloween, and the next cruise would have been a Very Merry. There was no gap in the middle.
That's what it was.
And there used to always be a gap in the middle. I'm like, that'd be cool to do a back to back that way.
Yeah, where you have both holidays. Yeah, I'm with you. We were able to do the Dream last year for Thanksgiving, and I think that's probably the best specialty cruise we've been on. I like it better than Halloween on the high seas, to be completely honest. So it kind of puts you in the mood for the Christmas season and everything like that before all the chaos happens in December. So, and then with Wake not having to work and cook and clean, and for us cleaning afterwards, I think it's a perfect way to celebrate the holidays.
No, we love it. It's nothing like when you walk in, come out of your room in the morning and the Christmas music is playing. It's just like, oh yeah, it just really puts you in a good mood.
Well, let's jump into this cruise then. I guess we didn't really talk on it. I mean, I guess I know who sailed, but who all sailed with you this time on this sailing, Chris?
So it was my wife, Lisa, my son, Nicholas, and my daughter, Emily. And she's a junior at University of Arizona. So she flew direct from Arizona to Florida, and we met her there in the airport. It was kind of fun. Hadn't seen her in a couple months, and we arrived like an hour before her and waited for her to get off her flight. So that was kind of fun.
And then Nick is just to put a bit of perspective for people who haven't listened to you before. Nick is a senior in high school, so a little bit older kids, but still love cruising with Disney, don't they?
Yeah. So Nicholas, it's the next cruise. He's aged out of the kids clubs. He'll turn 18 in March. So this was his last time going to the kids clubs. And Emily aged out a few years ago, but she likes the 1820 society, but she's aging out of that next February.
Well, life just keeps moving on, doesn't it? It's kind of crazy.
Yes. She started as a 3-year-old on these cruises, and now she's, 20 years old.
I love it. She'll be taking her own families eventually sometime soon here.
Yeah.
Well, not soon, but
hopefully not soon. But I was kind of thinking one day, I was like, God, in 10 years, I could be on this cruise with Emily, could have kids or something crazy, right? It's like, wow.
I love it. So, well, cruising out of Port Canaveral, as you said, this is your second sailing of the Wish. Any thoughts about getting out of Port Canaveral? I know that we've sailed out of San Diego, or you sailed out of San Diego, out of New Orleans, some of the different one-off ports that Disney Cruise Line sails out of, but Port Canaveral being the home port. Do you enjoy sailing out of there?
Yeah, I mean, I there's not a whole lot to look at, but I enjoy, there's a couple of those bars right there, and the people at the jetty park all waving at the ship. So it's still kind of fun, I think it has more people waving to you than any other port. A lot of people seem to go there on when the cruise ships are sailing, just to watch the ship sail out.
Yeah, Anna Wake's got a friend, her parents live in there. There's like some condos there at the end of the jetty, kind of along there, and they can watch the ships go out from their condo, which they think is pretty cool. They'll send us pictures every now and then, which I think is super cool.
That'd be super cool to be able, I'll go watch the Fantasy sail out today, or go watch the Wish sail out.
Yeah. Okay. So getting on the ship, no problems as far as Port Canaveral is pretty easy. It seems like.
Yeah, it's super easy. We have a car service that drops us off right in front, and I think we were in the terminal within 5 minutes, and then they kind of changed concierge boarding. I think because the Wish has so many concierge rooms that they took a group of like maybe 7 or 8 cabins. Then they waited till like another group, and then the concierge host kind of went over stuff, the basic of their services and how things are going to work and that kind of stuff, and then sent us on the ship instead of telling us these things at the lunch.
So I guess to throw it in there, so you guys sailed concierge again this time, and there's like kind of a concierge waiting room there before you board the ship. If people don't know, if they haven't sailed out of Port Canaveral, so normally you guys get on and you work with the host once you get on, but in this case, they're working with you before time.
Yeah, that's the first time they've ever done it. They gave us, there was like maybe 5 or 6 families there, and one of the hostess went over, what they do, dining, you want change requests, any stuff like that. Kind of give you a basic overview of concierge services. Which was different from this sailing, because on the September sailing, we boarded and we were probably the 20th concierge family to board, and you couldn't even walk across the Grand Hall because the line of the people trying to get into the 1923 side, the Roy side of 1923 for the lunch was so backed up, it would just cause problems in the Grand Hall there. So this time the lunch was on the Walt side, the other side, and it kind of staggered the people boarding the ship.
Yeah. So if people don't know, is concierge, you guys have a separate lunch that you can go to in one of the restaurants, and it varies from ship to ship to ship. And so that's what we're kind of talking about.
Correct.
And were you able to get everything? Because that's one of the things that people have been talking about, because there's so many more concierge cabins and everything like that. So like you guys spend a day at Castaway Cay. I know you guys like to get a cabana. Were you able to get all the stuff that you wanted to get ahead of time?
We were, and you just have to send the email at midnight on the day you could send it, and they timestamp them. So I'm there. Luckily, I'm in California, so it's 9:00, and I have my phone out with the countdown. As soon as it hits 9:00, I hit send on my email, and we've had good luck getting everything we wanted.
And one thing, I guess I was thinking about this too. Do you have to get on 30 days prior to get your port arrival time too, or can you set that up ahead of time?
So that we don't have to worry about port arrival time for concierge. You can arrive anytime. So I don't have to stress about doing the 30-day check-in. I can do it whenever.
I wonder if they're ever going to change that back. I mean, I would think that they would eventually, but nothing so far, I guess, as far as it goes. I mean, for a lot of, there's so many platinum sailors now that maybe they'll give. I know they got the new tiers are rolling out, so maybe that'll be for the Pearl. Can come anytime they want. I think there's so many platinum people sailing that it's just hard. It's just too many people. Yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about this on our last show, and I was thinking about it too. I mean, it's been Disney's coming up on 25 years this summer that they've been sailing, and there's a lot of people have been sailing. I mean, so you've got 25 years for people to meet that 10 sailing mark to become platinum. So I know that there are a lot of people that only sail with Disney Cruise Line maybe one or two times, but over the 25 years, they've picked up a lot of fans. It's pretty easy
we start off with a family that went maybe every 2 years kind of thing. So, you started racking them up pretty quick. We started in 2000, 2 years after they started sailing. So, yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that they have so many people at the platinum level now.
So I think we're at 23 right now. So I have 2 sailings and we'll be Pearl.
Wow.
But I've met people on one of our sailings. There was this older couple. They were doing number 93, and they're doing the back-to-back. They're doing 93 and 94.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was on New Year's. So, yeah, there's some people out there with a lot of sailings under their belt.
I saw somebody they put all their sailings on their door one time on one of it.
Oh, I've seen that too. It's insane.
Yeah. And I think they were at 50 or something like that, which I still boggled my mind to see all those sailings up there. So to your point. Well, good. I'm glad you guys were able to get everything that you wanted to get. But once again, if you're sailing concierge, get on there right at 9:00 or midnight ahead of time. Get your email in so you can get all the things that you want to get. So I know that you're a fan of the muffaletta sandwich. Were you able to get that for at your lunch?
Yes, I did. It never disappoints. Although I'll say with the Wish, I enjoy Donald's Cantina and the barbecue place too. So I was like, I would have been happy with one of those too. I've never been a cabanas person, and the pool food, the hamburgers and stuff are always kind of okay, but I do like those 2 things on the Wish.
The barbecue is really good. I didn't try Donald's because the line was always long the time we were on the Wish, but I got the barbecue a couple times, and I love the fact that they have 3 or 4 different types of sauces too, and they're good sauces too. It's not like
it was sauces. Really good. Yeah. And they need to double the size of the taco thing on the next ship. So it always had a line.
Yeah, it was. I think Alex stood in line for 30 minutes one time to get a burrito. It looked good, but I went for the barbecue instead, I guess. So let's talk a little bit about the Wish. We weren't able to, or this is the first time I've been able to talk with you about the Disney Wish. Is the newest ship. What are your overall thoughts about the Wish as you got on, and this one being the second sailing now?
The ship is a beautiful ship, but a lot of things, functionality, are just kind of mind-boggling how they laid some stuff out. I just don't get it. I mean, I think Luna is too small. The 2-story thing is not the greatest. What's right behind on the second story of Luna, the bar there, the Irish? Is it the Irish?
It's the it's the Nordic themed one. Well, there's actually 2 of them. Actually, there's I'll have to pull it up, but one of them is a
so you get stuff bleeding out of there, and you got Luna bleeding into there. It's some things just don't make sense to me. The elevators for the concierge rooms, a lot of the concierge rooms are on deck 13. There's only 4 elevators out of the 8 that go to deck 13. They should have separate buttons. So it's you wait, you have the 1 in 8 chance, or 50% chance of getting a correct elevator. Somehow 80% of the time we get one that wouldn't go all the way up, and get one that only goes to 11.
It's not marked on the outside to tell you which ones go to 13?
No, it is. But when the elevator comes, the first one that would come, it's like the wrong one. And to say, okay, let's wait for a next one. And then it's like, by the time it's like, we just go to 11 and walk the next two, the stairs.
Gotcha. No,
they should have separate buttons. It's like, makes no sense. I mean, there's a lot of hallways on the ship, in my experience on newer ships, we were on Celebrity Edge. That was, the newest ship I had been on the last few years that was built, I think it was built in 2018. So it had everything wide open spaces, all the hallways, really huge open areas. I kept thinking, well, the Wish probably going to be like this. It's kind of trend, have more open spaces. And the Wish went backwards with more just corridors and long hallways. And I was like, this makes no sense. It's weird.
I like the fact that all of the spaces are kind of in the middle, like the flow of it. Like you've got Luna, and then you've got you get the different lounges and everything, and then you get the ground hall and everything. I like that because I think it makes it kind of, there's like a buzz. Sometimes when you go on the other ships and then you go down to the adult areas, there's like nobody there.
Yeah, true. 100%. But like on deck 3, like going aft from the elevator, there's like these weird hallways like that go to like Hook's Barbary. And it's like, it just feels, I don't know, claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah, and that's where we need to go beyond it too. It's like, I like the idea that they did that, but the spaces are really small, so they get to be really crowded because everybody's kind of being funneled into that same area. And to your point, like if you go on even just like the Fantasy and the Wish, the Fantasy and the Dream, I feel like just overall the spaces are just wider. And if you go on like Norwegian and Royal and some of the, they're not like a premium cruise experience as Disney and Celebrity is, but the way that they've built their spaces, it's just like a lot more wide open. It's just a much more enjoyable space. And they've got you go to the outside and there's like no running deck anymore. And there's this huge wide outside deck that nobody goes to. It's like, why didn't they use that space and like kind of make it an inside outside kind of area where people can kind of flow everywhere? But
don't get me started about the running deck. I mean, that is just like, Celebrity had like this unbelievable running path. I'm like, this is, but the trend, right? It's like this. Yeah. It had like 2 lanes, one for walking, one for running. It was half mile. It was like went over 2 decks. It was incredible. And then you get on the Wish, and I'm like, I think a 5K, you go up and down stairs 400 times.
Yeah.
That's going deck 5 to 6, down to 5 and back. That was like the most efficient way to do it. Yeah. And to me, like going to Palo, it's like you get off the elevator and you go down a hall, make a right, make a left, make a right, make a left, going down these long hallways. If you got one of the elevators doesn't take you to 13, there's not a stairway right there. You have to go, to that other area where the jumpy house thing is, like to find the stairway. It's like, some of the things just make no sense to me. But it's a beautiful ship, but there's some weird things that I don't know. It's like you kind of shake your head.
I hope that with the Treasure, they can figure out or make some changes, I guess, to make it flow a little bit better and make it a little bit maybe better experience for people overall. Because I tend to agree with you. And I think that people can keep saying kind of the same things over and over as far as their experiences there. But the one thing that, other than the fact that there's a lot more concierge guests on board, the one thing I do know is the concierge area is pretty nice. Let's turn and talk a little bit about that. What's your thoughts about the lounge? And then there's a beautiful outdoor deck space for you guys too.
Yeah, so the lounge on that ship is obviously the biggest of all the ships. It's a beautiful lounge with these forward-facing windows compared to the Dream class where you're in a room with no windows. The Magic and the Wonder have nice lounges that have windows, but then it has a beautiful outside area that has 2 hot tubs and like a little, not a pool. It's like a foot deep maybe. It's like a bench with water coming down your back. That's the cold part, and then the 2 hot tubs. And there's a bar out there that has like some pina colada type drinks and machines all the time, and a bartender different hours. And so that area is beautiful. And they actually have a little kitchen now where they have a very limited menu. For breakfast, it was like avocado toast and like waffles and like some kind of like egg sandwich or something. And then they have the happy hour. And they have a nice bar where the other ships didn't really have like a bar you could sit at. This has a nice bar, maybe 10 bar stools. And when they're busy, they'll serve them from the bar. And then they also have like a cart serving wine off of it too, to kind of divert people a different direction. But it's odd on this ship where the snacks are at, they serve you, where the other ships, they don't serve you. And so, during COVID, they obviously served you, but they went back to just help yourself. So now when I go down in the morning, I want 6 donut holes. I got to ask can I have 6 donut holes, and kind of look sheepishly at her I'm embarrassed, taking all these pastries or something. So
they're not all for me, honest. It's for the family.
Yeah, exactly. I was getting it for everybody. And then sometimes there's someone not there. So you're kind of waiting for someone to come serve you. So that was kind of different. But they had 3 coffee machines, which was nice because there's never enough coffee machines. So it's a beautiful lounge. That area, they really stepped it up, and it looks awesome.
Did you guys eat there at all, as far as for lunch or anything like that, or did you guys end up going other places on the ship?
The kids got breakfast there once or twice, I think, and Emily might have got something one afternoon. I know it takes a while. It's not as quick as you would think it would be. So I never myself ordered off that menu.
Okay.
Because concierge also has a separate room service menu for the rooms. And I've ordered off that menu before.
And it's probably easier to do that and just have them bring it to you anyways,
exactly.
rather than waiting unless you want to spend time in the lounge. So before we talk about the room that you guys booked, which is, I think, really amazing, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. You've got kind of your room had a pretty big private space as far as a balcony and everything to be outside. Did you go and use the balcony in the concierge lounge at all? Was it busy up there? I guess that's the question I got.
It didn't seem, I didn't really use it per se. We have a special entrance from our balcony onto that deck. And so if you want to go get something from the bar, or if you want to go jump in the little cool pool thing. So we've done that. It's real hot, we'll go jump in the cool pool thing for a few minutes. And I want to say every time we went over there, maybe there was 15, 20 people out there, compared to the September sailing when we had 2 extra sea days, the extended sailing. It was always packed out there. This sailing wasn't as busy.
Okay. And I guess that's what I was kind of wondering. Because if you go to the main pool deck, it was really busy on our sailing too. It was hard to find chairs at times.
If you want chairs, there's no problem finding chairs on this sailing.
Okay.
On the extended Ian sailing, it was always packed out there. It looked like a zoo. But I think it's people just were trying to find something to do, because we ended up with 3 sea days in a row.
Right. Because you get stuck out there for the hurricane.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other story. Well, let's turn to, what did you guys book again this time, Chris, as far as your room?
So we had room number 13,500, which is the Briar Rose Suite, a 2-story royal suite. There's 2 of those 2-story royal suites. There's 2 single-story royal suites, and then there's also the funnel suite. Obviously, we stayed so far in these 2-story royal suites, and I think they're the best option on the ship. They're just incredible rooms.
For people who've never been into, which is most of us, how does it work? You walk in, is it a dining room with a bedroom down there, or what's upstairs versus downstairs?
Yeah, so you walk into a kitchen area that has a spiral staircase to go upstairs. You have a kitchen area, you have a dining table, you have a little family room area with a couch that makes into a bed, and there's a bedroom off of that with its own closet and bathroom. And then you go up the stairs to the master, which has a humongous master closet. You could put clothes in there for a month sailing, probably. Literally. And then an incredible bathroom that has the floor to ceiling glass windows with the light switch which turns the glass from frosted to clear. It's really an incredible room.
You can control that frost to clear with
there's a light switch.
A light switch, okay, to be able to turn that on and off. I think that's awesome.
So Lisa gets mad at me because I never frost it. So I'm taking a shower after my run the morning we're in Nassau as the Carnival Freedom's pulling in next to us. But the window kind of fogs up, and she comes in. It's like, did you really just take a shower? I'm like, if people want to look at me, that's their problem.
I love it. I'd probably be doing the same thing in all honesty. That's hilarious. So
it's this awesome view. I'm taking a shower, looking out the Nassau Island. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And then the Carnival Freedom starts pulling in.
They always park right between us and the island, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of takes that. Anyways, I guess maybe next time you have to book the other suite where it's looking the other way out over the ocean or something like that. So what else comes with this suite then, Chris? What other benefits do you get? So
you get all the normal concierge benefits, and also the benefit of get Palo in your room for room service. And that's something we really enjoy.
Is that something you have to set up ahead of time? In other words, the day before to do it? Or could you call down in the morning and go, hey, we want to have Palo dinner tonight?
I usually just tell them the morning of, just kind of give them a heads up, just to make it easier for them. I mean, I think one time we pivoted and like at 5 o'clock decided, in fact, we did it on this sailing. We decided we want to have it in the room, and we kind of, scrambled, make a list of what we wanted to eat and stuff. And they made it happen. I apologize. I'm like, this is not how we usually do it, but things kind of changed and we're eating in the room tonight. So
2 more questions, concierge related. And then I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that we should be hitting on, but do they have the drink cart? Does that still go around?
No, not on the Wish. And so on the September sailing, there was nothing. On this sailing, they came around with a cart with like antipasto trays. I'm like, this is awesome. And then so the lady that brought those said, would you like me? And she knew she'd gotten our drinks down below in the lounge. She actually went and got us drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually was kind of like a drink cart, but she just went and ran and got them herself.
Yeah, that's
and so I think they're trying to phase the drink cart on the other ships I've heard, which is kind of a shame. That it came with COVID, try to get less people in the lounge, but it was awesome. If you're getting ready for dinner and they could just bring it to your door, it was great.
That was definitely a good perk, I think, for those of you guys sailing in concierge. And
yeah, you got to enjoy it twice.
Yeah, I totally
New Orleans
enjoyed
and Greece.
So, and then here's the other question. With so many more concierge rooms, did you feel like you were able to get the attention that you deserve's not the right one, but did you feel like there was like too many people for the amount of hosts they had? Or did the hosts able to take care of the things that you were hoping to get from them?
So from the September, so they roughly doubled the rooms, and there's always been 3 hosts. September, there was 4 hosts, and now they've added a 5th host. I think the 5th host covers it pretty good now, and you could. I noticed there's always someone available if I had a question or something. Where in September, they were a little busier. I think I had a hard time keeping up.
I know that some of the hosts have been there for quite a while. Were they hosts that you'd seen before on the other ships, or because when we were on the Wish, there was a lot of new cast members or crew members on board where they were like earning their ears and stuff like that. How about for concierge?
So for concierge, in September, there was one host that I knew that's been there a while. It's a guy named G, who's awesome. And a couple new ones I met that are really great. And then this one, Glenn, who's one of the longest hosts, he was there. G was back there. And Ropa, who I've never had before, but she's like pretty famous, in the cruise lines of being a great host. She's been there a long time. She was there. And we had Mariana, who I met in September, who's awesome. And there's someone who I'm drawing a blank on. So yeah, we had Sophie, who just became a host. She wore whites in September. She just transitioned to become a host. So they had it covered really good, and they're all great.
Well, it's good to hear. So that by adding that 5th host, it sounds like that's really helping to.
Yeah, it was enough to kind of cover it, I think.
Good. Well, anything else about concierge, the room that you guys had that our listeners would want to hear, Chris, that we haven't talked about?
No, it's just, if you can do it someday, it's an incredible room. You have a full-size refrigerator. It's fully stocked with soda and juices and milk and stuff, and Mickey ice cream bars in the freezer.
I saw the picture you took, and I was like, I think I'd probably need to be on like a seven night sailing to go through all the stuff that they put in there for you guys.
Yeah, and this time they added some fresh juices kind of thing, and to me they look gross. Emily really liked them, but then on day 3 they were gone and never brought them back. So I have no idea what happened. I think because they were fresh juices, they have to rotate them, and I think they forgot to bring them back. Maybe, I don't know. It's not a room for little kids. I can't speak for the single story royal suites, but there's a lot of tile and marble in these rooms, a lot of hard surfaces, and the stairway. There's no way to block a kid from they can't put a gate on the stairway or anything the way it's made. So if you have little ones, you might want to reconsider one of these types of rooms, because also the room is so big that the downstairs bathroom and closet are fire doors. And my daughter actually got her finger caught in the door one night because they would close in 2 seconds. And it was super rough seas the first night, rougher than the Ian sailing. And the door had something holding it open, and the ship rocked so much that she grabbed the door frame as the door closed, and it got her finger. Oh, yeah. So at midnight, all of a sudden she's yelling. I'm sound asleep. I don't know what's going on. So that's one thing to consider with these rooms, that they're not real child friendly.
I hope Emily's finger's okay then. So.
Yeah, it's better now. She had a splint on it for a couple of weeks. She went to the medical place on the ship, and they reassured her when they told her that we don't think it's broken, but check it when you get home.
Well, yeah, good to know about that. I mean, the doors are pretty heavy in the.
Oh yeah, there's like 60-pound fire doors, and so the funny thing is the main door of the room, it wouldn't click shut half the time. It would get right there, and Lucy'd be like, "You didn't shut the door again." I'm like, "Well, I'm used to it shutting behind me."
It's weird that they move so fast because like every other door that's pretty heavy, like if you're just trying to get onto the balcony and stuff like that, they're pretty slow to. I mean, they're pretty hard to close quickly.
So this one closed in 2 seconds. After the incident, we had several people in our room looking at the door, and then it was adjusted and it closes in 20 seconds now.
Okay.
And it closes very softly when it closes. So like this is what it needed to be from the beginning. I don't know if it got out adjustment or something. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry that Emily had to be the one to find that, but I'm glad they got adjusted for somebody else. I guess the next people sailing on it. Let's turn to something different. I know that you and Lisa like the spa. Did you guys spend any time in the spa? I haven't talked to anybody about the spa on the Wish.
So yes, we did. We did it twice in September and twice on this sailing. And we love the spa. It's beautiful. It's the nicest spa of all the ships, with the exception of the couple's choice massage is one that has like the hot tub in it. On the other ships, you have a view of the ocean or the outside or whatever. This one's like an interior type room. So it's like, it seems odd having this hot tub like in a room with like no windows.
Yeah.
It's a beautifully adorned room, but it just seems kind of different. And we did, that room has like the massage table is like a water mattress thing. And so it's kind of something different. They have like a water mattress in some rooms and like an air mattress in the other rooms, and then regular mattress in the other therapy rooms.
Did you like the water mattress, I guess, then? Or
to be honestly, it's just kind of weird. And then part of the thing too, like I don't hear good sometimes when they're both talking before the massage or whatever, and something's going on. But part of then they put these headphones on you. I wasn't like expecting that. Also, they put these headphones on you when you turn over with some kind of like, music. And I was like, I didn't care for that.
I guess it was like to relax you or something.
Yeah,
like
but it was like super loud. And I'm like, it was very, I don't know. To me, it was kind of distracting.
Did you guys do the rainforest room? What's the rainforest room like on there?
We've been in it and actually gave us a pass one day for it. So it has the area that has, the showers like the other ships. Then it has the huge outside area, which you can see from deck 6 looking down with like the loungers and the hot tub and stuff. So I think it gives you an option if you're over 18 to have it more, if you want to lay out, in the sun, you could pay the money for a day pass and there's less people out there.
Yeah, I saw that when I walked up to the front of the ship. So that's part of the rainforest room.
Yeah, it's part of the rainforest, yeah.
That place looked really nice.
So yeah, that is really gorgeous.
Did you use the gym at all?
Yes, I did. I just went in there to use weights after my run. It was kind of weird. On September sailing, gym was packed every day. It's like had to wait to try to get like the bench press or something. This time it was maybe 50% full, and it's super easy to go in there and grab some weights, start doing something.
I didn't do the weights, but I ran on the treadmill, and it was nice. It was a good space. So, but I'm with you. I wish they had the outdoor track where you could run around.
Yeah,
without the stairs. All right, let's turn to the main dining rooms. You guys have been on here twice now. Have you made it to all the main dining rooms?
So yeah, September, Lisa and I just went to Arendelle because we were waiting with the kids to kind of do the other main dining rooms. And so this ship, we did all the main dining rooms with the kids. I picked my rotation ahead of time because we wanted to be in Arendelle on Thanksgiving. And normally the 4-night sailings, the rotations will have, dinner one night somewhere and then 2 nights at the same restaurant. This one broke it up and had Arendelle the first night and the last night. And so we're supposed to go to Palo the first night with Lisa and I. She likes the show in Arendelle. So I'm like, well, we'll go to the show. So we'll go with the kids tonight. And then Lisa ended up getting so motion sick, didn't even go to dinner.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we've been on 30 sailings and she's never missed a dinner ever. There was such a headwind that night. It was so rough. It was rougher than during Ia. So we made it to all the dining rooms this time. The first time, I haven't been to in Palo in a sailing, I think in 22 sailings.
I know, because you're pretty much a regular up there. Well, I remember that because Christy was sailing out of Fort Lauderdale the same day you guys left out of Port Canaveral, and there was a pretty huge storm that had gone over Florida, and it was like a 3 or 4 day kind of system that kind of worked its way over the top. So you guys were kind of stuck in the middle of all that. So it's usually a little bit rough when you go over through the Florida Straits there as you go across over towards the Bahamas, but not like what you guys had. So.
Yeah, I always tell people that's usually the roughest part of those cruises. The first, from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night or something, it seems like, right? And it's usually not that bad. It was rough.
Well, what do you think about the restaurants overall? Arendelle, Worlds of Marvel, and then 1923.
I guess we'll start with 1923. I love the menu there. The restaurant's way too small, way too crowded. again, it's like, why did you make this so small where the poor servers have a hard time getting in between tables? Love the look of it, though. I think it's a great restaurant. I just love everything else about it. Just, they either put less people in there or there should have been 30% bigger. I have no idea. And kind of the same thing with World of Marvel. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I think next time it's going to be like kind of like this again. And I'm a huge Marvel fan. And to me, it's too small. There was a table next to us that had 5 people. They put the 5th person on the end of a 4-top. That person's chair was touching the table next to him. I'm like, how do you do that? It's just, I mean, I think for little kids, but the Marvel's awesome and stuff. But as an adult, I'm like, after I think 1 or 2 times, it's going to get kind of repetitive. Unless hopefully they update the show. That's what I'm hoping. They update it as movies come out. Then it kind of gives something to look forward to. And Arendelle seems like a little more room inside. Your tables weren't as crowded, and I hate that menu. There's nothing on that menu that in fact, I ordered 1923 that night. There's nothing on that menu that sounds good to me.
That's a good point for everybody. Although I've heard somebody told me that they were trying to not encourage this like recently or something like that, but you can order food off the different menus. So if you're in Arendelle and you want to get that maybe filet from 1923 or something like that.
And that's what I did. And I understand it's harder for them to do this. So I told concierge that day, I'm like, hey, I want to order this for dinner tonight. Can you let the server know? To kind of let them know ahead of time, to give them a heads up. And they're able to accommodate me, no problem. So yeah, and one thing was weird on the sale, since it was Thanksgiving week, there was never a pirate menu, which most people were happy about because there was a Thanksgiving menu.
Had that instead, but there was a pirate night, right?
Yes, there was a pirate night.
Yeah,
but no pirate menu.
Did you? Well, let me hold on the show. I wanted to say one. What's something to think about is you're talking about Worlds of Marvel. You go to it's to me, and a lot of people say it's kind of like the replacement of Animator's Palette. And if you get Animator's Palette on the Dream and the Fantasy, it's kind of the same show in some ways, but you get Turtle Talk with Crush where you're it
changes.
It changes because the interactions with the people are different. Where it's not the same show. Yeah, where it's not the same show where you're watching it every time. And then with the older ships in Animator's Palette too, they've got like the one night where you'll draw, so you get to watch the characters. Then there's the one show where they do the classic show where it changes colors and a special character comes out at the end to kind of surprise you. But you're right, with Worlds of Marvel, unless they change that, it's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah,
and they have updated every year, at least every 18 months or something, right? Then make it repeatable.
Right, definitely. How about the pirate show? Did you go see that? The Rockin' Pirate show up on deck?
No, we missed it. I don't know why. I think that was part of the problem. Our servers were so slow on their sailing too. It was like we're the last ones almost every night, and we didn't want to be. And so I've seen that we saw it in September. It's a great show, and we got back to our room as the show. I think the show starts at 10. I think we got out of dinner like at 10:10 or something, and we went to our room, and then fireworks started like 15 minutes later. We watched them from our balcony.
Oh, okay. Could you hear the music from him?
Yeah, you could hear it a little bit. Yeah.
Because I was thinking that show is like right our era, all the music.
Oh, 100%. Right? Yeah, 100%. I loved it.
I loved all the songs that they picked and everything like that. I don't think I had a blast like dancing and just embarrassing our kids when we were up there. So yeah, I think that's my favorite pirate show overall in the ships. Well,
I think that's a win on the Wish. The Pirate Night, they really stepped it up, and that's awesome.
Yeah. What did you think of the screens? I know you're kind of a tech guy. What do you think? Just the video screens on the ship itself? They're so clear and gigantic and amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. The technology keeps getting better, right? It's like they need to update the other ships now.
It was weird to go from the Wish back to the Wonder, and like you're looking at it's like it's the big huge funnel vision. You're looking at it, it's almost like
so pixelated.
So pixelated and everything like that compared to how clear the Wish is. The screens are amazing. So, well, anything else that you guys enjoyed doing around the ship? I know you guys usually do bingo. Were you able to do that this time?
So we actually did bingo. We're able to. And that's kind of a gripe of mine where Luna seems so much smaller. On our September sailing, bingo's, pre-sales were at 4:00 one day, bingo 4:15. I got there at 3:45 and they were sold out of electronic tablets already.
Oh, wow.
And there was like no place to sit. So I'm like, and that happened twice to us on September sailing. So this time I'm like, we have to get there early. And we got there 15 minutes early and we were like the second people online. So it ended up filling up, but not as bad as September. Didn't win anything though.
I was going to ask, did you win anything?
No.
You couldn't con Ed to come sit with you to have his luck rub off on you again?
Yeah, he's my lucky charm, and no, he was
too busy working.
Yeah.
Anything else stand out? Any other favorite places around the ship that you've enjoyed, or that you and Lisa enjoyed without the kids or with the kids?
Well, without the kids, I mean, on September, we really enjoyed the Rose Bar. I think it's a great place to have a drink before dinner. It's a beautiful space, and I can't wait to be in there in the summertime when it's not dark and you can see out, And we really liked the New Orleans area. I can't think what it's called now.
Oh man, sorry, I'm looking it up right now as you were talking.
And we did. I want to call it Hyperspace Lounge. We did.
Yeah, Hyperspace Lounge.
Oh, yeah, I keep everything confused. And we did that with the kids one day. Me and Lisa did in September. And I love Star Wars. And I'm really disappointed with that space. But you can just walk right in, no problem. I don't know how it was on your sailing, if you still had to have reservations. But ours, just walk in, get it, and there was always a table available. So we did that one day with the kids, and they enjoyed it.
We had to get reservations, so we had like 45 minutes. And it was like literally like sit down, order your drink quick, and then get out.
Yeah. So they're really not. I mean, I think we could have sat there hours if we wanted to, because there was always a table or two available. But we each had one drink, and we were probably there 30 minutes. I have no idea.
Did you like the drink you got? Because that's the other thing too. Yeah.
And so let me say, I'm not a huge. I like Grey Goose vodka on the rocks. That's my drink of choice. I'm not a fruity drink person or a sweet drink person. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. And even like Lisa's not a big fan of most of it either. So Nicholas got the one that has no alcohol with ice cream. I think he drank half of it maybe.
It's like too sweet, I think.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because Andrew got the same thing too. So it's the Bayou Lounge.
Lounge. We like the Bayou Lounge too. That's a really neat area.
Did they have music? Because
most of the time they had music.
We walked by one time, and the first night they didn't have. We were in there, and we just kind of hung out there. There was no music, and then we were doing something else, and so we didn't stop. But they had some live music, and it was really good.
No, yeah, they had a person there live music, and then another time they were doing like a craft project in there or something, like for families or something, like a Christmas theme something, like in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I think that's a cool space. Yeah, Hyperspace, I think that they try to do the drinks different, to make you feel like you're in space. And like I like beer, and there's like the 2 beers that they have in there I actually like, but I mean you got to be an outlier to actually really like those beers. So I don't know. Eventually I think that they're gonna have to maybe change it a little bit, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was one thing I was disappointed with that space, and being a huge Star Wars fan, it's like
yeah. I mean, I think the screen's kind of cool, but like
and it gets pretty again, you could have put 5 more scenes in there. It
gets repetitive, right?
Yeah, real repetitive. You should be in an hour and not see the same thing. They have the technology and they can do that, and they have the Star Wars footage to do something. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm going to totally go off the rails here, but I am hoping that the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge becomes the Haunted Mansion Lounge on the Treasure.
I'm 100% behind that.
Oh my gosh, if they do that, like what's the Tiki Lounge that's at Disneyland and Trader Sam's?
Yeah.
If they do that kind of on that Trader Sam's level, where you go in there and you get the different drinks and things happen as you order the different drinks and like that, I think that would be super cool.
Then I hope they double the size of it too, because I think it'll become repeatable and people will want to go more than once.
But I'm with you too. Nightingales, I like that. We could never get in there because it was always full. We went to champagne tasting, and that was in there, which is the only time we were able to get in there, because the rest of the time it was packed when we go by there. They always had live music going too.
Yeah, we never went to Nightingales, but yeah, I noticed it was always busy.
Oh, wait a minute. You said the Rose Bar. The Rose Bar's up by Palo.
Yeah, the Rose Bar.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm with you there now. So, all right, before we touch on NASA and Castaway, you didn't go to Palo this time, but you've been to Palo on the first one. What's your thoughts about Palo being a steakhouse now? And what were your thoughts of Palo?
I mean, I'm a huge steakhouse person, so I love that. The Palo space on this one to me is just kind of funky. It's like the first section you walk through, it's like you're at some diner somewhere.
With the
then
booths.
You walk into the middle section, and then there's the back section. I don't know. It's kind of the way it's laid out. It's kind of funky. Food was always outstanding there. September, I think we ate there 5 nights. Food's always great. Service is always great. Yeah, I love it as a steakhouse. I'm a steak person. And we ended up getting Thanksgiving dinner in our room, half Palo and half main dining.
So did you guys, let's just talk about that real quick, and then we'll talk about the ports. But for Thanksgiving, did they do anything special that day for people who've never been on Thanksgiving sailings? What do they do on Thanksgiving?
So they have a Thanksgiving dinner on the menu. So it's traditional turkey, stuffing, cranberry, green beans, whatever, but no pumpkin pie.
Yeah,
They have pumpkin cheesecake. And it's kind of a joke in the Twitter community with us and a few other people that since going back to 2018, that if I'll get pumpkin pie. So concierge actually had them make me a pumpkin pie. And I think the concierge kitchen made it because on the regular ships, Cabanas always has on the first day of normal pumpkin pie. They made us a pumpkin pie and it had a crust on the top and the bottom like an apple pie would have. I'm still trying to figure out how they're able to achieve this because the pumpkin's a liquid when they put it in there. How did they get the crust not to fall into it? But so they made us a pumpkin pie and it was delicious and I really appreciate it. It was awesome. They did that for us.
Yeah, that has never. Alex gets the pumpkin pie every time now, and it's kind of a joke towards you. In all honesty, he goes, "Here, take a picture for Chris."
I love it when I get those pictures. It's like, why can't they just make pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving dinner? So they have the regular Thanksgiving dinner. So we ordered the two of those from the main dining, I think, and then food from Palo. We had a Thanksgiving feast in our room. I had a porterhouse and a bite of Nick's turkey, and so we had a great Thanksgiving dinner that way.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. For everybody else, they don't really do anything special like activity-wise on Thanksgiving necessarily.
No, because it's a very maritime sailing, so it's just the Christmas activities. You weren't on there, but other people, I don't think they have the gingerbread decorating. I never saw it on the Navigator, and I've heard other people talk about it that they haven't seen it yet. And that's one thing the kids used to like to go do with their mom is go decorate the cookies.
I'll let you know whether they have it on the fantasy or not when we're on there next week. So it'll be interesting to see.
I'm jealous of you because you're going to have the awesome Christmas decorations, the awesome gingerbread house.
I don't know why they went with that gold tree. That tree is, I mean, it fits, I guess, the statue, I guess.
I don't know. Put a regular tree with gold lights. Put a real gingerbread house, not this thing that looks like, literally, I think me and you could have made it. It was so underwhelming to see the gingerbread thing on the Wish. It was just like, really? And then as people are posting on social media, the ones on the fantasy and the dream are like this, 14-foot wide, 8-foot deep, 8-foot tall gingerbread houses.
With characters around them and everything
else.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Yeah.
So, I was really disappointed with the Christmas on the Wish.
Hopefully maybe that's part of they just didn't get things lined up in time, but you'd think that they knew what was going on.
Yeah, you think. I don't know.
Hopefully it'll be a little bit different next year for people. Well, let's touch on the ports real quick. You guys stopped at Nassau, Castaway, and then I think it's still perfect. You guys had that day at sea for Thanksgiving, but did you do anything in Nassau?
No, we originally were going to go to Atlantis and get a cabana because Lisa and I did that in September. And then I was talking with the kids like a couple weeks ahead of time. They're like, they were kind of didn't really care. And I'm like, well, the pass for Atlantis is like $200 a person plus the cabana. If they really don't care and they kind of want to explore the ship that haven't been on it yet, so I canceled that. We just had a lazy day on the ship. The kids kind of did different things, walked, explored different areas. It's totally new to them.
Hey, did you ride the Aquamouse?
Nope.
Okay.
I didn't do it in September because I was waiting for the kids to do it, and then there was a huge line one day, and then we never did it. So
okay.
I still haven't seen it. I'm kind of bummed I didn't do it in September now, like when there was no line.
Yeah. You're like, well, I'll do it on the next cruise. And then
it didn't happen.
Oh, so all those people that weren't in concierge on the second sailing, they were all in line at the Aquamouse instead. So Castaway, then what'd you guys have planned? What'd you guys do? You guys got your cabana.
So we had a cabana, and so I ran the 5K in the morning, and we just enjoyed the cabana. My favorite thing is just to get one of the floats and just go lay out there in the ocean and just lay in the sun. And it was the most gorgeous day, one of the most gorgeous days we've had there. Somehow, I think November is the nicest day for Castaway. It's always warm still, and the water's usually calm. It's like we've been there, I think, 4 times in November now, and it's always been perfect. Yeah. So we just enjoyed the cabana, and that was it.
Because you can get some rains in the summer just because of the normal summer.
Oh, yeah, we used to always go in June for those double dips, and you always get a thunderstorm. And they'd cancel parasailing was always canceled. The jet skis were canceled. The weather was so nice that we were back at the ship at 4:00, and I was on our balcony. They were still doing parasailing at 4:00. And I'm like, that is unbelievable. And the water was just still calm.
They haven't brought the jet skis back, have they?
No, I didn't see them.
I wonder if they're going to do that, because I really want to do that.
It's super fun.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, one of the times they should have canceled it and they did it. And there was 3-4 foot waves out there. I came back, I was exhausted, and I ride motorcycles and jet skis and stuff. And it was exhausting, but it was fun.
Getting some good air and beating yourself
Oh
with
yeah,
those waves. I love it. Well, Chris, anything else that we should touch on with this cruise or just the Wish in general, since you sailed on it now twice?
No, I think we kind of covered everything. It's just, I like the older ships better still. And I think we'll look more towards those itineraries than, the 4 nights on the Wish. So we actually have one coming up in April, and I'm kind of like, do we really want to do this? It's in the Tower Suite. So I'm kind of leaving the kids' decision if we're going to go or not.
And then what do you have planned after that? I know that you guys are going to Europe too. Did you keep that one?
So we have Alaska again, possibly. It's on Celebrity, and we have a Europe cruise booked. And so we might flip flop one and push one off to next year. I'm not quite sure. We have a double dip on the Fantasy in July book that I think I'm most excited for, to get back on the Fantasy and do a double dip.
Or is that 14 days? Oh, no. Sorry. No. Okay. Disregard.
It's a 5 night. It's a 5 or 6 night on the Fantasy. It's a weird sailing they have.
I'm losing my brain today. You said double dip, not back to back. So I'm thinking like back to back. I was like, wow, 14 days on the Fantasy, but no, double dip to Castaway. I'm with you there.
Double dip to Castaway.
Yeah. Ah, man, my brain is like, I don't know where it is today. So I apologize, Chris.
No problem. And we have Aulani for New Year's. We're excited to do that. This is, I think, Lisa and I's 9th time doing Aulani. We did it 8 years straight in a row. And last year we pivoted and took the kids on the Dream. And like the whole time we were wishing we were at Aulani.
Well, enjoy your time over in Aulani. We're going in March, so I can't wait to get back there too. It's been I think 2 years since we've stayed there as well.
And so last time I was there was still COVID protocols, and we were there in New Year's for 2020, and that was the only trip that I had booked before COVID that actually happened. And it was such a weird, it was only at 25% capacity. It was such a weird experience. And then Lisa and I went like 3 months later, like in March or April, and it was still, at that time, they only had like 15% occupancy. It wasn't because it was regulated, because nobody was there. But I think they're back to 100%. So it's going to be interesting to see it back to normal again.
Must be crazy. I think even trying to get in, luckily, I know you guys have points and we have points, so we can book them ahead of time. But like, if you're in that 7-month window, I was talking to another friend that his family's going, and he had to walk his points to be able to get the dates he wanted in summer. So
I know, and I always book a cabana as soon as I book our thing, 11 months out, and I couldn't get a cabana for one of the days. Wow. I was really surprised.
Wow. Yeah, it's been busy over there.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking time and coming on and talking to me today about your guys' latest sailing on the Disney Wish. I really do appreciate that.
No problem. Thanks for having me again.
All right. All the best to you and to your family. Enjoy Aulani New Year's, and just happy holidays to you and your family as we kind of go through it. Once again, thanks again, Chris.
Thank you.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.